My God, how red can red be? I'm looking at the viewfinder here as I begin this Sunday video report, and I feel like Moses getting ready to part the Red Sea. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here with the Sunday report, and two more free selections coming your way. Now yesterday the free picks went 1-1-1. Alabama no-showed at Mississippi. Florida, now some of you may have won that game. As I told you early in the day when I released it as a free pick, they were getting 8.5 at Kentucky, but I thought the line would go down. I had already seen some movement down, and it did go down to 8 many places. And of course, Florida lost by 8 at Kentucky, so we'll call that one a push. And the winner was Wisconsin-Milwaukee, getting the job done on the road at Youngstown State. 44-29-1 run with the free picks, and two more today. Mid-afternoon game going at 3:30 Eastern Time in the Metro Atlantic. Not a conference I dip my toes in too frequently, but I think it's a good game. Fairfield at Iona, the top two teams in that conference battling. And then the 1 o'clock Eastern Time tip-off in the Atlantic 10. Good game, Xavier and Dayton, so we'll get to them as well. You know, one of the reasons I do these videos, not only to give you free picks, but also to try to play traffic cop, to point you in the direction, steer you, shall we say, toward the handicappers that happen to be winning, the guys that happen to have big plays. But you know, I talk about the winners and I talk about the losers yesterday. And yesterday, well, let's just say I took a left turn instead of a right and pointing you in the direction of Stephen Nover and Craig Davis, because Nover came out with a rare 100-dime play, only the 5th ever in his 17 or 18-year career in college basketball. San Diego State in revenge against BYU. Didn't work out too well, did it? I'll tell you, that was one of those cases. You know, marquee games are the toughest ones to win. And, you know, everybody and their brother seemingly was on San Diego State, a one-loss team, blah, blah, blah. If they win the game, they're probably going to wrap up a top seed in the big dance. Didn't work out too well, as I said. BYU, I had a hunch BYU was going to get the job done. But the thing that had me worried about that game is I remember when BYU took on UCLA earlier this season in Anaheim and suffered their first loss of the season, and the reason they lost that game was the Bruins' big front line really dominated the boards. And if you know anything about San Diego State, they have a very physical front line. They really attack the rack. But yesterday, you know, BYU was clearly the superior team. This Cougars team, it's more than just Jimmer Fredette. I mean, this is a very talented team. Craig Davis, of course, was coming out with a 100-dime play, just as strong as his winner on the Packers. It was Furman. Hey, they weren't even in that game. I mean, that was a loser for Craig, so there you go. Today, I will tell you, Shawn Michaels has a big 100-dime play, the first ever in his career in college basketball. He's going for a 4th straight 100-dime play as well. 2-0 in the NFL this past season, the last one being the Patriots' Monday night blowout, 45-3 over the Jets, and also hit his only one in college football in the Rose Bowl, winning back Wisconsin in its cover against TCU. So that's what he has going today. Bob Valentine has only had 6 NBA selections this entire season. He is 5-1 with those plays. 5 of them have been 40-dime plays, 4 out of 5 there. Hit his biggest play in the NBA on Thursday night when he gave you the Bulls outright over the Heats. That was a 50-dime play, 50-dime winner number 2 in a row, Heat and Knicks. Does he go against Miami once more and grab the points with Melo and Amari and the Knicks? Check it out, Bob Valentino. Those are probably the 2 hottest handicappers going today that I can tell you about. Now let's get to your free pick. The first one is going to be that Iona-Fairfield contest. You know, Fairfield, 15-2, sitting atop the MAC. This game means nothing. They have already wrapped up the #1 seed in the postseason tournament that starts next week. And you might look at this line and say, well, if Fairfield is the best team, and Fairfield won the season's first meeting 75-71 as a 3-point home chalk, why is Fairfield a 6-point dog in this contest? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, Fairfield is coming off a huge revenge win against Siena in its last game. Meanwhile, the other reason is that Iona is currently tied for 2nd place in the Metro Atlantic with Rider. But if both teams win out, Iona has the tie-breaking advantages. Now, Iona and Fairfield were anticipated to be the top 2 teams in the Metro Atlantic this season, and that's exactly how this one has played out. Iona's on a nice little roll, 6 straight winners since a loss at Fairfield, ironically, back on February 4th. As I told you, that was 75-71. Iona, the Gales, are 7-1 straight up at home in conference play, averaging 79 points a game. They're returning home after a 4-0 road trip They won at Marist by 15, at Manhattan by 37. Went to Virginia by bus to take on Liberty last Saturday in a bracket buster game. Won that one by 20, and then beat St. Peter's by 14. So again, I will go with Iona in revenge, laying the point 6 currently at home against Fairfield. Your other free pick is going to be Xavier. Now, Xavier opened around 2.5. It's up to 3 as I do this video for you on Sunday morning. This game tips off at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Xavier -3 at Dayton. You know, for years everybody used to say that how tough UD Arena was for any visitor to play at, and that has been certainly true. But you know, of late, and especially this season, the Flyers simply haven't been a dominant home team. In fact, they have lost their last 2 home games, both conference contests, lost by 12 to Temple and Richmond by 9, their last 2 home games. Now, that's the same Temple team that Xavier took care of business at home earlier this season, 88-77, and by earlier I mean just about a month ago. Xavier has won 6 in a row, 13 of its last 14 games. It has won and covered 6 of its last 7 on the road, and what I really like about Xavier in this game is and you know, I used them as a free pick in their last game against LaSalle, and I told you that their head coach was really pissed off by their lack of effort and intensity when they barely got by a bad Fordham team, 79-72, 2 games ago. And what happened, their very next game, which happened to be their last game, they came out and they hammered LaSalle 100-62. Now, granted, that was a home game, but they're on the road today. I understand that. But again, they have won and covered 6 of their last 7 on the road. Their last road trip was a 3-0 sweep. They went to Georgia for a late season non-conference game, beat the Bulldogs of the SEC by 6, won by 8 at Duquesne, then won by 20, as they should have, at St. Joe's, no letdown. Now, in the season's first meeting, January 15th in Cincinnati, Xavier won that game 81-76. I'm going to go with them here today, even though this line has gone up to 3, because there are a couple of mitigating factors to consider. First of all, Xavier has Temple, who won yesterday, breathing down its neck in the Atlantic 10 race, as Xavier is in first place, Temple's in second, currently just a half game back after yesterday's triumph. Second, last year, Xavier went to Dayton and suffered its worst ever loss since joining the Atlantic 10 back in like 1995, got blown out 90-65. So I think the play to go here is Xavier in revenge. Based on that loss last year, laying the 3 points. The other free pick is going to be Iona. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Monday.